together. Let it not be for one person. Let's invite others, let's invite others, let's invite others. Let's make sure we invite others to this live broadcast. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be life-changing. Please invite others to come through. Okay, so just to make sure we start the progress, my name is Wilbert Mutoko, and I'm so excited to bring you the shift. Hope that if you enjoy it, we can make it a series. Everybody wants to succeed. Everybody wants to succeed. Whether it's in your life, or it's in your schoolwork, or it's in your career, or it's in your business, all of us desire success. So the topic we are looking at is shift number 1, unveiling the number 1 secret to success in life, career, and business. So somebody might be wondering, what is the secret to success? It is the power of persistence. The power of persistence. The power of persistence. A determinant for success in life, career, and business. Guess what? When it comes to success in any endeavor, you need to be able to be persistent. What does it mean to be persistent? What does it mean to be persistent? Persistence is to the character of man as carbon is to steel. Steel finds carbon to be very important. So at the same time, if you are going to be successful in character and successful in anything that you do in life, you need persistence. Persistence is very, very, very key. So that was Napoleon Hill. Persistence is to the character of man as carbon is to steel. So persistence is a key driver of success in various aspects of life. When we say you are persistent, we mean to say anything that you want to do, you will not stop until you are done. You will not stop until you make it. There's something I've realized in this life, particularly as a mentor. I see quite a number of people, some executives, some professionals, even some university students. They say, Dr. Mutoko, I want you to be my mentor. I want you to be my mentor. And if you say to them, let's have a meeting next week, or maybe let's have a meeting in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, what happens is that they will never show up. They were thinking of talking to Dr. Mutoko. They wanted him to be their mentor simply because maybe they had watched a video or they had read one of my books. When they get a bit of postponement, they no longer desire. We are in a generation that is very, 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 very impatient. A generation that is not persistent. A generation that cannot push until what they want happens. And that's what we are trying to say tonight. We need to correct that. It's very important. And we want to learn something from the Bible. We want to learn something from the Bible. That's the first example that we are looking at. The parable of the persistent widow. From the book of Luke, chapter 18, verse 1 to 8. All right? So the summary of the parable is that a widow persistently sought justice from an unjust judge. This widow went to a judge to say, I have a matter that needs help. Please help me. So there's something interesting here because you have a widow. A widow represents people who are vulnerable. A widow represents people that are powerless. In many cases, widows have no one to represent them. In many cases, widows do not even have the money to pay lawyers. So, on the other hand, there is a judge, but this judge, unfortunately, is not a good judge, doesn't have the heart for people. This is a judge who did not fear God. This is a judge who didn't care about anybody. Do you see the difference? So, you have a widow on the other hand who has a matter that needs to be addressed by the judge, but the judge doesn't care about anyone. The judge doesn't even fear God. But there is something special about this widow. She may not have had money to seek justice through lawyers and so on. She may not have had influence. She may not have had a husband to stand with her. But she had one very, very powerful thing. And that thing was persistence. I want you to know that if you lack persistence, it doesn't matter how smart you are, it doesn't matter how educated you are, it doesn't matter how connected you are. If you lack persistence, you will not go far in life, you will not go far in career, you will not go far in business. From this widow, the widow showed her persistence by continuously going to the judge. Even though the judge didn't care, at the end of the day, people care about themselves. The judge cared about himself. So when this widow continued coming to the judge, continued coming to the judge, please help me, the judge got tired because of the persistence. And he said, hey, this woman is troubling me. Why don't I just give her what she wants? Let me give her the justice so that I can have peace. The judge did not help the widow out of a good heart. The judge did not help the widow out of mercy. The judge did not help the widow out of fairness. He helped the widow because he wanted his own peace. And we hear Jesus saying, imagine if an unjust judge ended up giving justice to the widow who was persistent. What more of your Father in heaven if you are persistent in prayer? If you keep on praying without ceasing, if you keep on praying without giving up, then you will get almost anything that you ask for. So we can learn something from the parable of the widow. I don't know what is it that is troubling you in your life. I don't know what is troubling you in your career. I don't know what's troubling you in your business. If you decide to be persistent, one day you will be smiling. Another example apart from the widow in the Bible, we have a historical example of Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln is a former president of the United States of America. Abraham Lincoln is remembered as one of the greatest presidents to ever emerge from the United States of America. What was special about Abraham Lincoln? He was a man of persistence. He had early failures in business. He lost elections as a politician, but he continued to persevere. At one time, Abraham Lincoln said, my great concern is not whether you have failed, but whether you are content with your failure. Some people are so content with their failures. Consistent people, persistent people, persevering people are not content with the status quo. We see that Abraham Lincoln, after failing several times, he kept trying until he became the president of the United States of America. Not just a president, but one of the best. I don't know what it is that you're going through. I want you to know, even if it's a health challenge that you have, if you can be persistent in prayer, if you can be persistent in exercising, if you can be persistent in eating right, if you can be persistent in drinking right, if you can be persistent in challenging your mind to think positive and see yourself living up to 100 years of age, if you can do that, you will manage. But if you lie in bed and you say, oh, I don't think I will survive, this sickness might kill me, then definitely that's what will happen. Do not give up. Help me tell somebody near you that be persistent. Do not give up. Some of you are in a marriage and your marriage has given you so much trouble. But do you know that there are people who have been in a marriage like yours, but they were persistent and today they are happy? There are people who have suffered to look for a job. I normally say to people, if you are looking for a job and you haven't thrown 100 or more applications, you haven't started applying. One time I was talking to a colleague. He worked with us in a certain company just for a month or so, and he got a job in Geneva, Switzerland. And then I asked him, how did you get that top job in Geneva? And he said to me, he did more than 300 applications. I'm talking of someone with a PhD. Somebody with a PhD, you would think that by the time you have a PhD, your life is sorted. He applied over 300 places. He was invited for interviews in 10 places out of over 300, and he got 4 jobs. He had to choose out of the 4. Now, some of you, you have not tried. You just applied twice, and you're already holding your chin. Some of you, you applied 5 times, and nobody responded, and you said, oh, I don't know what's happening in my life. My friend, you need to be more persistent. Not just persistent in applying for the job, but also persistent in following up. Keep a record of which places you have applied for a job, and then make a follow-up and keep a record of the follow-ups as well. Know which employer said what. So you see, some people have been crying, but I want you to know that you can try more than you have been trying. You are running a business. I used to make that same mistake. You look for an office, you get the office, you put a phone, you sit in your chair, you put on the aircon, and you're waiting for customers to come. That's not how business works. You need to call, you need to prospect, you need to do sales, you need to do presentations. You can't just sit in your office and expect people to walk in. Maybe you have seen in some offices people just stroll in. It's because your competitors are already known. Probably when they were starting, they were going out there looking for customers. Sitting in the office expecting people to just come, it doesn't work like that. You gotta be persistent. You gotta be persistent. If you give up too soon, you will realize that nothing works in your life. You get into this relationship, you quit. You get into another relationship, you quit. You get into this job, you quit. You get into this business, you quit. You are always exchanging things. Be like Abraham Lincoln, or be like that widow from Luke. I hope we are learning something. If you are learning something, please say, I am learning. Another person we want to talk about is Thomas Edison, the man who is credited for inventing the light bulb and many other inventions. If you didn't know, Thomas Edison had learning disabilities. He had many failed attempts. But Thomas Edison says, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. For him to come up with the light bulb, Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times. Some historians say he failed 1,000 times. It doesn't matter whether it was 1,000 times or 10,000 times. I think it doesn't matter. How many of you have failed 1,000 times? How many of you have failed 10,000 times? Some people just fail 2 times and they give up. But when you were a baby, how many times did you fall down? Several times. Until you were able to sit, until you were able to stand, until you were able to walk, until you were able to run. Now you have grown up, you are giving up so easily. Why? How many times have you failed? How many times have you tried again? Maybe right now you're watching me and you're thinking, well, but you don't understand. Yes, I may not understand your specific circumstances, but what I'm saying is the secret for continuously making it is in persistence. If you see a successful wrestler, ask them. There are times when they have been knocked down. There are times when they lost their teeth. They have scars. There are times when things didn't go according to plan, but they kept at it until they became a champion. You want to become a champion? I want to encourage you, be persistent. Thomas Edison was persistent, just like we saw with Abraham Lincoln. Another person that I would want us to talk about is a lady, because I've talked about men so far. I want to talk about a lady called Dr. Tererai Trent. Grew up in Zimbabwe, in rural Zimbabwe. She had no hope. Relatives and parents, they didn't believe that a girl child is supposed to go to school. From such a negative background, Dr. Tererai Trent has become such an advocate of girl child and women empowerment across the world. The first time most people knew about Dr. Tererai Trent is when she appeared on Oprah. And the rest is history. I don't know what people have told you. Maybe you are a girl, maybe you are a woman. They are looking down on you and you are thinking, what can I achieve in this life? I want you to know that the world is waiting for your story, but only if you are persistent. Some of you have made mistakes. Maybe you were pregnant while you were still at school and you couldn't finish school. Guess what? There are people that were impregnated while at school, but they dusted themselves, they arose from there, and today they have the degrees they desire. They have those businesses they desire. Be persistent. Don't keep lying on the ground. Don't keep sulking in the dust. Don't keep sulking in the mud and say, oh, life is unfair. Life will always be unfair, but what you need to do is to be persistent. Arise and stand for yourself. A good colleague in the speaking field, Arthur Marara, wrote a book called No One Is Coming. Very powerful book. No one is coming. You are waiting for people to show you sympathy. No one will show you sympathy. You are waiting for people to donate to you. Very few people will donate to you because people are going through their own issues. You need to wake up and know that no one is coming. You are the change that you have been waiting for. That's what Barack Obama said. You are the change that you have been waiting for. Until you stand up and be persistent in what you believe in, nothing is going to happen. What are the traits of persistent individuals? Number one, they are resilient. They bounce back after a failure. When they have a setback, they bounce back. I've seen people, athletes for example, they are running. When they see that, oh, maybe they fell down, after falling down very badly and everybody is going, they make a decision. I think I can still arise. Even though now I'm the last, I can still arise and put an effort. Some of them will arise, start running again, and probably become position 1, 2, or 3. They still come out with a medal. Why? Because they know how to be resilient. I don't know what you're going through, but it's possible for you to be resilient. Another trait for persistent individuals, apart from resilience, is determination. You are focused on the long-term goals despite the challenges that you are facing. What is your long-term goal? Yes, I know you lost your job, but is that the end of life? I know that man or that woman divorced you. Is that the end? I know your relationship ended abruptly, but is that the end? I know it's not easy. Your boss at work doesn't understand, but is that the end? I know you might be watching me and you are in hospital right now and you are thinking, am I gonna survive? Yes, it's possible for you to survive, my dear. I actually pray and desire that you rise from that hospital bed, but it needs you to think in your mind that I'm gonna come out of this hospital bed. I'm gonna bounce back. I'm determined that I want things to work. Determination. Another thing is patience. Most successful people are well known for being patient. They go through difficulties and they can still smile. Why? Because they can see the bigger picture. I don't know whether you are good at seeing the bigger picture. We have heard about Steve Jobs in career and business. Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple. At one time he was booted out. They say, no. Leave. We are not sure about the way you are running this company. Imagine your own baby, your own company that you started, and people say, no, get out of here. He is not the only one. There are others who have gone through the same. But after some time, they asked him to come back. And he came back and he ran the company until the time of his passing. The company was super successful. Even until today, even after he is gone, the company is still leading the world. What is it that you can do to show a difference in terms of persistence? So, how do you practically cultivate persistence? Number one, you must set clear goals. Some people do not have clear goals. When you don't have clear goals of what you want to achieve, how do you expect to make it? Define what you want to achieve. I've heard of people who were maids. A maid took themselves to school. And today I was watching a video where a certain lady went and worked in the Middle East for a number of years. And she was saving money and sending it to her brother. I mean, some people earn a lot of money, but they have never seen it in their future. They have never set clear goals of what they can achieve. If you see the house that maid built in her home country, you will be shocked. She's taking care of her 3 children right now, and she has a fantastic house, and many other people are getting excited. They are helping her to finish off certain things. But it's because she saw that even though I am a maid, I need to set goals and I need to have a house of my own. Her land size is 4,500 square meters, 60 by 75, 4,500 square meters. That's more than an acre. So she now has plans. I want to keep goats. I want to have some plants. I want to have some. You see, what is your dream? What are the clear goals that you have set for yourself? Or you are just existing? Please set your goals. Don't just set them, but check them regularly to see whether you are following your goals. The second thing, develop resilience. Learn to bounce back. When things get tough, when you fail, arise and begin to move again. And of course, stay consistent. I think staying consistent is one of the most difficult things for most people. There are people who used to pray 30 minutes every day. There are people who used to read their Bible 30 minutes every day or 1 hour, whatever. There are people who used to read a book every week, a book every month. There are people who used to work very hard, but all that is history. They have not been consistent. Their life is ups and downs. I've heard people who say, life is up and down. It doesn't have to be like that. The path of the just is like a shining light that must shine brighter and brighter and brighter every day. So I want to encourage you to cultivate persistence. Number 1, set clear goals. Number 2, develop resilience. Number 3, stay consistent. So in conclusion, we are saying persistence is a crucial determinant of success. And you need a call to action. Embrace persistence in your journey to achieve greatness. If you are not persistent, I don't care what you do in life, you will not go far. And the quote that I will leave you with is from Thomas Edison. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time. That's Thomas Edison. Just try one more time. Try one more time. You hear me, friend? Try one more time. As I end, there are some birds that I have seen. They poke on the bark of a tree, on the stem of a tree, continuously. I don't know how many weeks they take until they create a hole on that tree. Now they have made a very good house for themselves and their children. A bird, no technology. You have technology. I have technology. You have equipment. I have equipment. We have so many advantages today and we have no excuse. Now tell me, if a bird can continue picking on a stem of a tree until it is able to actually make a home, to create a big hole in that tree with its fragile beak, this bird, which school did it attend? Which motivational session did it attend? Which YouTube Live or LinkedIn Live or TikTok Live did it attend? Who is the mentor of that bird? Friends, we have no excuse. Persistence is the name of the game. Please leave some comments below. I would like to hear what you think concerning what we have talked about. I believe that for you to be successful in life, to be successful in relationships, to be successful in business, in career, at school, we all need persistence. Remember, I love you. Dr. Wilbert Mutoko signing out. Please leave a comment below. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And remember to follow me on LinkedIn, on TikTok, on Facebook. I'm on almost every other platform. I'm on Instagram as well. Remember to follow. Thank you so much. I love you. Bye-bye. Keep winning.